Hi guys and welcome back. Today we are diving into some fall time artwork. I love this time of year for many reasons, like a lot of us, but in particular it does help me really get connected with the concepts and the themes that I find really inspiring for my artwork. It brings me back to like my true core inspirations. So it's a great time and I'm excited to start making some artwork that feels a little bit more in tune with fall time feelings. I find that I also tend to lean a lot warmer during the fall time in my color palette. So I like to explore more burnt oranges and yellows and a little bit of red. But yeah, I usually historically have preferred cooler colors, but during the fall time, I find that I'm feeling more like I want to play with something that's a little bit more outside my comfort zone. When I'm looking at references, the ones that I find really exciting and inspiring tend to be things like autumn leaves and that dusk time when the sun's going down and everything's all golden. So yeah, that is a lot of what's going into this piece. Is I'm just connecting some of the dots of the things that I find just so exciting and inspiring about fall time and autumn. Oh, and really quickly, this painting is available at my shop. So if you'd like an original painting that would go really perfectly with a coffee or tea or drink station or anywhere, honestly, I love her. She is linked down in the description, so you can go check out the listing over at my shop. And yeah, let's get back to painting. So today I'm obviously working on a very unique shape for a painting. I love working like this anyways, but this was the perfect panel for what I'm feeling right now, which is all I want to do is drink cozy warm drinks all day long because it's just starting to get chilly outside and I love that. So this panel, it's a limited edition one from Pocatello, so I'm not sure if they still have any available, but I'll link their website down below if you're interested in checking that out. But yeah, it was just, it just called to me. I love warm drinks. It lights me up. It makes me happy. It makes me love fall and wintertime, honestly. But that was the inciting concept for this. It was, it just clicked right in. I immediately knew that I wanted to paint a character in this shape, almost floating, kind of like she was an embodiment of coffee. And I immediately had the idea of making her hair flowy and almost like how cream intermingles with coffee when you first pour it in. And you can see that some areas are more diluted and others are more white. Like if you look at a cup of iced coffee, for example, with cream mixing in, I love that. It looks just so beautiful and ethereal. So I was trying to bring that into the way that I drew the character so that she would feel like this, this embodiment of coffee and cream. And I basically designed the entire piece around that concept. And I liked that. I liked that it was very straightforward as far as how I wanted to address it and what I wanted to say in it and the colors, because I knew immediately I wanted it to be, again, in that very warm palette, but also very coffee colored and cream colored, and then some more that was a little bit more ambery. And it just felt like everything came into place. It fell into place. I love it when that happens with a piece. It does not always. In fact, I'd say far more often there's something that ends up being a bit of a struggle. So that was just really pleasant to be able to work on this piece and have the concept, the way that I wanted to tell that concept, and the colors kind of all just intuitively making sense. So yeah, that's how I formulated what I was going to do with this piece. I knew that I wanted to incorporate texture into this piece. I've been in love with watercolor texture lately. It feels like just this whole new universe of how to use watercolors has opened up. So I like to be thoughtful about where I put texture or where I really emphasize it in pieces. That way it doesn't end up becoming overwhelming, that it has a place and a purpose. So I chose to keep that texturing in the background, which is how I usually like to do it. I like to add a lot of interest to the background and keep the characters fairly smooth in the washes. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. I love that so much. The wet and wet technique of going in and adding that grittier more thick paint into the thinner water. It's magic. But yeah, that's where I focus most of the texturing. And then I tried to keep a very smooth, consistent wash for a lot of the character itself. Here's the real problem with this piece. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I chose to do a white or almost white in areas line art for her hair. Never again, unless I fix the execution, which, to be honest, I need to, because I love the look of this and I want to do it all the time. I love designing pieces that have white or very light line art incorporated into it. I love it. But with the gouache that I've been using, it's very transparent and it takes a lot of time to layer it up enough to make sure that it's opaque enough to color or to cover what's behind it. So it ends up being an extremely tedious and unpleasant process, and I don't want anything that I can avoid in my artwork to make me feel like that. I want to try to make sure that as much of it is streamlined in a way that makes me really enjoy it. So yeah, I need to figure it out. I don't know if the answer is a different type of paint in that specific application for line art, say like a fluid acrylic. The biggest thing that I need is that I need it to be opaque, of course, but I also need it to be fairly matte or completely matte so that it matches the sheen of the watercolors. So those are kind of my two big components. So if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear it. I need a fairly fluid paint that is opaque. So yeah, that's the thing with the gouache that I use, is that it comes out very thick relatively. So I add more water to make sure that it is a thin enough consistency for the line art that it'll just flow really nicely. So for a lot of the colors, that isn't a problem. In fact, quite a large range of values, it's totally fine. It's just once you get really light white, those colors they take a couple layers to really get that impact back of the straight out of the tube opacity. So yeah, I've made that mistake a couple of times in recent history where I've designed a piece that had this light line work and then it ended up taking forever. I was frustrated with it by the end and I always forget. So I need to do some experimenting before I really incorporate that into more work in the future. Oh, and this painting is available at my shop. There's a link down in the description that'll take you over there. She would make a perfect addition to a coffee bar or a little tea station or your drink station or anywhere, to be honest. I really like how this one turned out. I love the theme myself. It's just so cozy. It's a perfect launching point for some more spooky, warm paintings that I have coming up for autumn. But yeah, again, she's available, and I have a link to Trakell's website if you wanted to go see if they had any more of this specific panel shape. They have other Halloween ones right now too, which is really fun. But yeah, that's it for today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.